Hi everyone and welcome to Unwind Design. My name's Kim. I'm your instructor for today. So let's get started with what we have in front of us. We have an 11 by 14 size canvas. Long ways. We're going to be doing our Olaf nice and long today. Then we have our towel. This is to dry your brushes. My towel is really dirty right now. Make sure that you also have some water over here as well. So we're gonna have our towel, our water, and I'm gonna have a hair dryer. Some of you guys remember I use a fan sometimes, a hair dryer, a cardboard, a book, a magazine, anything that you can use to dry your painting. We are gonna be painting from the back to the front, so we need the back layers to dry first, okay? So we're gonna be doing that. Then we have our brushes, starting off with our large background brush. Make sure it's big enough to cover your canvas. Okay, you want one that is nice and big to cover the back. If you have a bigger canvas, get one that's a little bit bigger than this, okay? Then we have our square brush between a size 5 and an 8. As long as it's square and flat on top, that's the brush we're using. Then we have our round tip. It's a brush that comes to a point and it's round on the point. That's why it's called a round tip. And it usually is between a 5 and an 8 too, if you're looking at sizes, okay? If not, try to look at it and compare it to one that's like it. Then we have our little skinny detail brush. Really, really small. And this is going to be for all the little lines that are really skinny on the outlines, okay? All right. And then the colors that we're using today are going to be our blue, our yellow, our red, our black, our brown, and our white. You don't need to have brown. If you don't have it, you can just use black, okay? So you don't need to have a brown again. Next, the last thing that I forgot to tell you that you guys are going to need is that you're going to need a pencil of some sort. So make sure you get a pencil. That was the final thing I forgot to tell you guys you needed, your pencil. Perfect. And again, we have our towel, our water, our paint. If you notice, our paint is going to be really sticky, so we are going to have to watch how much water we add in there. If our paint is sticky, it's telling you, hey, I'm thirsty, give me some water. So you need to give it some water to one, make your paint last longer. It water stretches your paint out. And two, so you don't struggle. You're gonna have a hard time pushing your paint if it's really sticky like toothpaste. You want it to be nice and soft and creamy and milky, and that's how we want to spread it around on the canvas, okay? So hopefully you guys all have your pencil now, and we're gonna get started on our Olaf. And we're gonna get started with our head. Let's do our head first. So right up on top here, on the top part of our half canvas, cut your canvas in half with your hands. And then move it just a little bit up. Boom, just a little bit. Right in the middle, we're going to start a shape, okay? This is the middle. Now let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. And that's the top of my canvas right there, okay? So from here, we're going to come in and we're going to do sort of like the shape of an egg. You know how the shape of an egg comes to a point and then it gets fat on the back? So this is going to be an upside down egg. Okay? So we're going to come in and we're going to do an egg that's a little pointy and square on top. See that? Instead of being flat, it comes up a little bit. And it's pointy and square on top. Okay, so right here would be the egg. Watch. This is the egg shape right here. Let me turn it around so that you can see the egg. Watch. You see how that looks like an egg right there? So to the egg, we're just going to add a little bit of a straight line coming out, and we're going to make it a little straight. And that's what it's going to look like on there. We're making the egg, and then we're going to go up a little bit and make the head a little straight. So for the sides of the face here, let me zoom in again for all of you who want to see Olaf on there. You're going to come in a little bit and then you're going to go up. See, this is the top of Olaf's eyes. And then the side is the cheeks. So then you come in and you erase those corners there. See, and now it looks more like Olaf's face. He's going to have his eyes right here in the middle. Okay, perfect. So we have a little bit of his face there. So next, to draw in the face, we're going to start off first with the eyes right in the center right here. So we're going to come in and we're going to do one big oval. See that? There's one oval there. Right next to it, we're going to do another oval. Except that right there, we're going to stop and do a circle below. And that's Olaf's nose right there in the middle. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want to, too, if it's too small. You can make it look like his nose is a little fatter. See? And I'll just erase that middle. See? So in there, you're like, wait a minute, how is that Olaf's face? Okay, big oval, small oval, and then a circle. We have Olaf's pupils right there. And another one down there. See how it's starting to look more like him now? You can add a little bit of a top layer. Remember, he has a little bit of a darker eyelid on top. See, you can make his eye nice and round. Okay. You can do his eyebrows on the side. Cool. So from here on the sides of his nose, we can make little soft lines coming down. And this is going to be the line for the mouth. Okay. Okay, remember he has one big tooth. And then the mouth comes down and curves in. Olaf, we are now going to come down to the rest of our body. So here's the bottom of Olaf's head. Here's the bottom of my canvas. Okay, and let's start this. We're going to start to do his body going this way, a little bit crooked to the side. Let me zoom out a little bit again so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to come in and lean it towards the right a little bit. Okay, so we're coming in with our pencil. We're going to start to do a little circle towards that side. Okay, we don't want it that big. We want it nice and small. And we're going to start to bring it this way. We're going to stop. We're going to come back on our other side, bring it halfway. So again, a circle, and then stop. Okay, can even bring it a little bit straighter. Okay, from here, we're going to just curve it a little bit. And that's going to be the upper torso of his body. He has a big, giant knob right there in the center. See, there's his upper torso. From here, he has his chubby belly. Okay, so we want to make it nice and big. You want to make it a little bit more oval, a little bit bigger in the bottom, okay? Make him a little lower, heavy. Okay, so we're going to come in, make this circle a little bit chubbier. Okay, and that's his bottom body. And we're going to have another button and another third button. Okay, if it's too long, try making him a little bit wider to the sides. Erase it, all the bottom half, and try to go oval. Notice that this circle is oval sideways from corner to corner. See that? From corner to corner, it's not straight. It's angled a little bit. Our circle is angled. From there, we have a bottom foot coming straight down, straight line, another oval. And then we have another little foot on top. Super fun ice skating. Right. So there we go. There's our little Olaf. We're not going to be painting in the hands yet. What we are going to do though, is we're going to come in and create a little line right here, part of his little tummy. So here we're going to be moving on now, and we're going to be using our larger brush. So we're going to start off first with our bigger brush. And you know what? We're going to be using this brush instead of our big one, okay? We're going to get a little crazy today. So this line is going to let us know that this is our horizon line. We're going to keep it up all the way down to the other side as well. So let's start off first with our paint. We're going to come in and we're going to start to pick up a little bit of water. Remember I said that my paint was really sticky and it needed some water? That's what we're going to do next. I'm picking up a little bit of this water and I'm beginning to add it to my white first. Okay, so make sure that your paint is nice and soft. Make sure that you add enough water that it makes it easy to paint with it. Okay, remember you don't want it too see-through either. If it's too see-through, then add a little bit more paint to it because it's way too watery. We want to always balance it, and sometimes it takes time. It's okay if you're barely getting a hang of it. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, to this white, we're going to add a little tiny little drop of blue. And look at that, how it's turning my paint already into a baby blue. So we want to start off first with a little bit of a lighter blue. Okay, and we're going to start to paint the top of our sky. And we're going to do it a little bit messy. Okay, you can come back, pick up a little bit of white, play with it. We want our sky to be a little bit messy. Okay, again, come back and pick up some water. If it gets too sticky, we want it to be nice and creamy. Be careful to go around Olaf, okay? We want to trace around his head. We don't want to paint Olaf in. Okay, if you do paint Olaf in a little bit, it's okay. We can fix him. Don't panic. But right now, we do want to keep everything kind of clean for the most part, okay? If you want to go back and add maybe a little bit more blue to that background, you can mix a little bit of blue into there if it's a little too light, just to make it look like there's a mixture of colors. You can come in with just a little bit of blue just to mix it in there too. See, now it looks like a combination of colors. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little better. And as we start to come down, we're going to start to pick up a little bit more white. We want to get closer to a snow look as we start to go down. Behind Olaf, we are going to add a little bit more of the baby blue. Okay, we want it to be a little bit darker so that it looks like a shadow and Olaf looks white. We want him to be the lightest thing on there, okay? So our baby blue that's a little dark goes behind Olaf. Okay, remember this line goes that way. So continue it all the way down. Again, we're adding a little bit of that blue to the bottom of Olaf behind him. And then as we start to go out, like I mentioned before, as we start to come out to the sides, we're going to start to pick up just our white. So make sure that your brush is nice and clean. We want this to look more like snow at the bottom. Okay, so we're starting to set that theme here. Adding a little bit of that white below. We're coming in with that sky a little bit on top here, making sure that it looks like the snow is specifically starting right here. If you want to come with a little bit more darker blue and sort of outline this bottom section to start separating it, that would be awesome. You can come with a little bit of a darker blue, and little by little with that dark baby blue, add more blue to the baby blue. It's going to start to get darker down there, and you're going to start to separate this. So we come in with our dark blue and we start to scrape it slowly, very softly. Then you bring it up a little bit, and that way it blends in with the background. We're going to do the same thing on the left. Then we come back and we scratch it back up on top. And see how it's starting to look like there's snow there? If you want to add a couple of more white lines just towards the back so it looks like there's still a little bit of white snowy landscape and maybe it's hazy, you can come back and just add a couple of lines back there. But you can keep your main white right here up front. Once we start going to the bottom, all of the bottom is going to be dark blue with no white, okay? So let me just show you a little bit of that. As I was telling you, the darkest parts are going to be towards the bottom. So we're going to come in with our dark blue, and we're going to start to add that dark blue down here. See that? And that's the color that we're going to paint below our Olaf. If you want to make a turquoise, I'm going to teach you how to do that. That one is not necessary. You can continue to paint it dark blue, but I'm going to give you just a quick tip real quick, all right? So if you like turquoise, you can add that to this blue. Let me show you. This is not in the picture, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways. So you make baby blue, a little bit of blue and white, but you add a tiny drop of green. And look at how pretty that color becomes. It gives you a really pretty turquoise. If you want it deeper, you can use a little bit more blue, and then look at that color. It gives you like an aqua green. And when you mix it with the Olaf water down here and the painting, look at how pretty that water becomes. Such a beautiful color. And you can use the dark blue and you can use that color to make the bottom of the water instead. And I think it looks so much prettier and icier. It's totally like the colors that Elsa has on her dress. You know? So again, you make that color using baby blue, which was blue and white, remember? And we just came in and added more yellow. If it's too green, which you can still mix in here, but if it's too green, come back and add some more blue, and then that'll even out the color for you. If it's too dark, you can add a little bit of white and it'll brighten it up for you. Real pretty like that. Look at how nice that ice is looking. So I'm going to give you some time to play with these colors. Remember, the way you get it to look so pretty is by making sure that your paint is always nice and soft. Okay, so make sure that you always have enough water in there. And then that way, when you combine your colors, you get all these really pretty mixtures. When you combine them, when your paint is nice and smooth and wet. So from here, we are going to start to work on our trees. Okay, so we're going to be working on some pine trees here, and our pine trees are going to be made with a darker blue and some white combined. You can also use a little bit of that turquoise if you want to, that you made over here. Again, it was a little bit of blue and white. I'm going to actually make a little bit of it here and some yellow. If it got a little too green, we came in with a little bit more blue to neutralize that and make it a little darker. There we go. And I'm making sure to add enough water to that to make it last. Nice. So from here, I'm going to begin to pick up my round tip brush, okay? Let me zoom in so you guys can see what we're doing. We're going to begin to work on our pine tree. We're going to add some water to our dark blue. Hopefully you guys still have this aqua green I told you guys about, or this turquoise. And we're going to start by making a line from the bottom of the snow section here, and we're going to bring it up. See that? There's the top. We're going to bring it a little bit higher. Okay. Here, we're going to start to pick up some of that dark blue. You can pick up a little bit of the turquoise and white. I didn't mix it on my brush. I just picked them all at the same time. And you can come and start to do these lines. First, we're going to start on top, making it look like an arrow. Okay. We're going to make 3 lines at the bottom. And we're going to start to make those lines. If you go to the middle, make your lines down. If you go to the left, come back, get some more color, go to the right. And what we want to do is we want to make sure we have all these colors popping out. So you come back, if you don't see a lot of color, come back with a little bit of white. And you can scratch the white. If you want to get the dark blue, you can come back and just do your dark blues first. Come back with a little bit of that aqua, scratch it on top a little bit. And look at how we're starting to get all these pretty colors as we're going down. I'm going in between those 3 colors, blue, aqua, and white. Using my blue. Coming back, picking up a little bit of aqua to separate it. Picking up a little bit of white to separate it. And then we just keep doing this all the way down. Come back with a little bit more of the dark blue. The dark blue kind of goes towards the bottom a little bit more because it is more of a shadow. Okay, we make it a little bit wider as we start to go lower. And look at, I still have a lot of space there. Okay. I still have plenty of space. Come back with a little bit more of that white to make it look like there's snow on top of it. Just scrape that on. Okay, if you want to add a little bit more of that dark blue on the sides, maybe make it look like it's has a little bit more shadow. Look at how the blue helps create shadows in there. You can come in with a very faded baby blue and just make a couple of lines on the snow so that it looks like there's a little bit of a shadow there. On the left-hand side, we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do it 2 times. So again, we start with our 1 line. We're going to make a line close to Olaf, a little small, and then we're going to make another line closer to the end that's a little bigger. You see that? And let me zoom out just a little bit. That is what it's looking like at the moment. So we're going to continue to do that again. Add a little bit of that dark blue. We're going to go back and forth using all these colors that we have, our dark blue, our aqua color. And that way we can play with this. real quick. If you want to come back with a little bit of that white, you can start to go against your water, and that way you create the snow look as if it's going right over the ice a little bit. You can come in with even a little bit of that aqua and apply that aqua green you made very lightly with a little bit of white over some of that snow to create a lighter effect on top. Okay, so keep rocking out. We'll be right back. We are almost done. When we're done with this, we're going to blow dry it, guys. So if you're done, go ahead and blow dry it. If you want to add smaller details, you can also use your really little brush to also add smaller details to your tree as well, okay? Teaching you what we're going to be doing next on the stomach, on the feet. Make sure that you do have plenty of white. You're going to be using the white a lot here. And you're going to be using baby blue. So if you want to make a little bit of that turquoise, maybe with some white, go ahead and get that nice and mixed. Remember, it was a little bit of baby blue with yellow on it. And I added a lot of white to make it look like this, to make it look like a minty color. Make sure again that you have plenty of white there so it can last you a while. Okay. And then we're going to wash off our brush and we're going to start by painting each of these little sections. And I'm going to teach you guys real quick how to do some blending, okay? So we're going to start off, wash your brush, make sure you don't have any other color on there. We're going to come in here and we're going to dry it a little bit. We still want it to be damp. We don't want it to be soaking wet with a lot of water. And we're going to come in with a little bit of this white and we're going to put our white right in the middle. You're like, why are we painting it white? So this is going to be the base for the rest of the color that we're going to have on there. So I added a little bit of that. Now I'm coming in with this really light baby blue that I made, right? And now I'm going to go around this in a circle. Okay? But because we have that white there, now when we mix it, watch, we come back and when we brush right in the middle, it erases that line. So then you can't even tell. And then it only looks like you're just blending it. You're like, wait a minute, why is it darker on the outside? You start to get a natural blending look that you wouldn't get if you didn't have that white on there. Let me show you again. So I'm going to come in with that darker baby blue. Then I come in with my white. Okay. And then when I come in and start to blend it in the middle, look at how I start to erase that line. That line starts to erase and it starts to look like it's actually fading. See? Don't press hard. Just go very lightly over the top. If you need to add more white, you can go with a little bit more white. But you see how it's starting to look like blending? If it doesn't look exactly like this, don't worry. I just want you guys to practice blending. Some of you guys, it might take a little bit longer to do it. That's not the point. The point is that you just practice and we're having fun while we're doing it. Okay? So don't be too hard on yourselves. Again, I'm coming in with that pure white right in the middle. I'm just scratching it off to the sides, trying to get rid of that line. Cool. So that's one foot. Let me work on the other one now. Same thing, I have that turquoise outline around it. You see that? So we're coming in with a little bit of this white. See how we're starting to get that faded look right in the middle? Again, don't push too hard. Go very soft over the top of it and practice that fading. Again, you push very soft on top. See that? Look at how pretty that looks. Nice and smooth. So now I'm going to work on the belly. Same thing. We're coming in with that turquoise. We're going to go around all of Olaf. And then right in the middle, we're going to go in with all this white really quickly to try to get it nice and smoothed out. You see how we're trying to get it nice and smooth now? Nice and soft. We'll continue to add a little bit more white to the middle. When this dries, you'll still be able to see the painting underneath, so don't worry. You'll still be able to see the pencil that you drew there. Don't feel scared that it's going to erase, okay? And we're going to continue to do that with all of Olaf. Okay, so there we go. We got his stomach. Look at how cute that looks with that blue. And you guys are practicing blending, so good for you guys. That's a technique that you guys, it's really going to help you a lot. It helps with pictures a lot. It's one of the hardest things to get with acrylic painting because you have to watch how hard you're pushing on your brush. See, and it leaves really beautiful effects afterwards. And there we go. So we're going to move up and we're going to also outline the sides of his face, okay, with a little bit of that baby blue as well. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more so we can see all of it. And let's keep painting. Real quick, guys, when we're working on the face, the outline that we're going to have is going to be around the face. So we're going to have an outline around. We're going to fade that. And we're going to have a little bit of an outline on the mouth part right over here. So we're going to have to fade that too, okay? We're coming in with our white, and the white is going to be on top of the lip. The dark color is actually right on the line itself right here. So let me get you another dark color so you can see it a little better. That's where our dark color is going to be, down there. And then right on top, we're coming in with some of this white, and we're going to start to soften it up to make it a nice soft upper lip. Same thing on the sides. We're going to come in and we're going to soften those sides there, make them a little smoother so that it looks like the transition's a little easier on Olaf and it's not too crazy. Same thing right here. You can come in with a little bit darker color if you still want it darker. If you want it lighter, come in with more white. It's that easy. If you think something's too dark, brighten it up. If you think something's too bright, darken it up. Play with it. From here, make sure that you do paint that tooth nice and white. It has to be very pale. Can't have them have a blue tooth. All right. So we are going to start working now on the face. You can go ahead and blow dry it. If it's a little too wet, you can go ahead and blow dry it again. So if it happens to be a little bit too wet, go ahead and blow dry it. We're going to start outlining the face, and we're going to start first with this nose. We're using our round tip, picking up a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red. And we're going to start to fill in this nose with that red. Okay, so there we go. We have his nose. And you can come in with a little bit of yellow and just kind of work that in there as well. Okay, let's make that nice and round. It feels so bad. For his nose, it's covering his face. Cool. So from there, using that same brush, we're going to pick up a little bit of water and we're going to pick up some black. We are going to do the face in a little bit, but we have to do these final little details. First off, with the water and our black, make sure that your black is nice and soft with plenty of that water added in there. Same round tip brush. We're going to come off from the side of the arm here, and we're going to create a little arm going up towards this tree right here. That arm is going to have 1, 2, 3 little fingers on that branch. If you want to add another little, line on the left, you can. You can also add a little bit of brown to this black to make it look like a tree a little more. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to come out towards the left over here, make it a little bit bigger towards the bottom. We always want to make it look like it's coming from somewhere. And then from here, we're going to bring it out towards the top here. If you don't want a thick line, don't press really hard and it'll get smaller. And again, we're doing 1, 2. You can continue to use that black. Bring it up. And towards the right, we're going to do another one. Another finger. Perfect. Right in the middle, we're going to come in and do these really cool buttons. You can pick up a little bit of your brown if you want to get some in there too. For more color, brown and black. Same thing down here, another button. And same thing down here. Another round button with a little bit of black. Cool. Final thing you have to fill out is the mouth. You can come in with just the black. Fill out the bottom section. And then all that little space you can use your smaller brush with. Because it is a tighter space, you do want to use a smaller brush with that. Now the upper part, I'm going to move into using my smaller brush. My very fine detail brush. Coming in using my little brush. And I'm going to begin to paint the sides of the mouth. We're filling in that mouth. And we're going to go in and outline those eyes. So remember, we want to be a little careful with that as well. We're going to come in, start to painting these eyes. Okay, we're going to make the outside line first. Okay, remember they're a little thicker on top. And then they're going to outline the full bottom. Same thing on the other side, a little bit bigger on top. And it's the side, nice and thin. Okay. We're going to paint in those pupils, nice and round. Here's the other one. Steady does it, don't rush. Okay, and let's work on making these a little round. Okay. Next, as we go up, we're going to pick up our brown and we're going to add a little bit of black to our brown, just a little bit. We want to use a dark brown. Let me show you what that looks like. So I have my brown, added some water, and I added a little bit of black to it just because I want it to be a little more chocolatey. Perfect. So then from here, we're going to come in and we're going to do the really cool, nice eyebrow on the left-hand side first, kind of curves in. And then it just kind of comes down. And there's his nice guy eyebrow. Here's another one right on top. Comes across and comes down. There's his other eyebrow. Let's make it a little bit thicker on this side. Cool. And then right on top, we're going to come in and do his hair. So we have one line. You can use a little bit of the black on that too. One line, and then it comes out. Okay, the next one, we have another line that's a little bit bigger. Then towards the left, you have a line that cuts to another one. From here, if you want to make the lip stand out a little bit more, you can come back, grab a little bit of blue with white. Okay, you want to make it a little bit on the darker side, darker than this. We're going to add a little bit of blue with white. And around the mouth here, you can add the line for the upper lip. See this? This was a little smiling face section on top. Let me clean this part off. Okay, you can even add a little bit of a highlight on the side of the nose, on the side of the eye. You can straighten out that tooth a little bit. You're also going to use a little bit of that baby blue on the side of the face down here to give it a jaw. So we're going to use a little bit of that dark blue underneath the side of the face. Okay, just a little bit darker. And then on the side of the mouth here, we're going to come from the corner and we're going to go in and then out. See that? That is the side of the mouth that adds a little bit more detail there to Olaf. All right, and there you go. All you really need now is to come down and right here at the bottom, get your white and your liner brush and put in your signature. If you want to add anything else to the painting, you can go and add sparkles. I don't know if you know how to do that. Let me show you guys how to do it real quick. You get your really big brush, and this is an extra, okay? But you get your really big brush, you add a lot of water to it. Add a lot of water to your white in the corner. And then you're gonna make it look as if there's snow. So you grab your other brush, lie it down, and then we're gonna do some snow. And it's snowing all over Olaf. Look at how cool that is. I love it. You could even go in there if you want to add any details, and you can add some snowflakes. You can add stars. You can make it as creative as you want. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine, like I told you before. You can come in and you can do little stars. It'll totally go with the theme of it. If you're going to add some stars in the blue section or in the white section, you can come in with a little bit of blue to make blue stars shiny in the snow. And again, these are all little details you could add at the end. So after we've done our details and our signature, you can do some of your stars in blue and purple and white. After we're done with all that, then we are done with our painting. And again, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we see you again soon. Bye.